Hi, it's John from metalworkmasters.com. This video is about the various types of welding flames. Selecting a suitable flame for your project can be a headache. In this video I will explain the differences between those types and the method of figuring out which flame type you're using. Now let's see briefly some of the basics first. The three basic types of welding flames are neutral, carburizing, and oxidizing flame. The flame produced in a torch is the outcome of a chemical reaction. This type of reaction is called combustion. Inside the torch, acetylene and oxygen are mixed. That reaction starts with a sparkle or a flame. As you can see, this reaction produces carbon dioxide and water as gases and a bright flame. However, the ratio of acetylene and oxygen must be the right one for the reaction to happen, without leaving leftovers of those ingredients. The right ratio is for 2 parts of acetylene there have to be 5 parts of oxygen. A neutral flame is produced when the ratio is just right. If there is more acetylene in the mixture, it will not react with oxygen. Such a reaction produces a carburizing flame. On the other hand, when there is too much flow of oxygen, an oxidizing flame is produced. As you can see, the diagrams depict this fact. Dashed lines indicate the correct amount of acetylene and oxygen that produces a neutral flame. You can visually understand how increasing the flow of one of the two ingredients affects the flame. How can a welder figure out which type of welding flame he or she is using? He or she can do that by noticing the shape and the characteristics of the flame. In all types, there is an inner cone depicted in the sketch in a bright yellow color. Also, there is an outer cone or envelope depicted in a sketch in a bright blue color. However, the key characteristic that you should pay close attention to is the acetylene feather, which is depicted in an orange color. The acetylene feather indicates the existence of unburned acetylene. So the carburizing flame can be mainly recognized by this feature. Another indicator is black smoke coming off the flame. That's actually carbon that came from the acetylene molecules. Now let's get to the tricky part. Since both neutral and oxidizing flames have only the inner and outer cone, the only way to be sure is by creating first a carburizing flame. By slowly reducing the flow of acetylene, the feather becomes smaller. The very moment it disappears, stop reducing the flow of acetylene. The flame that you have is a neutral one. If you want to be sure that you have a neutral flame, you can stop reducing when you can barely see the acetylene feather. Now let's talk about the oxidizing flame. By further reducing the acetylene flow, you will end up having an oxidizing flame. The difference between a neutral and oxidizing flames is that both cones, especially the inner one, are sharp in their end and less wide in oxidizing flames. You will see these characteristics become more intense while you reduce the amount of acetylene. One distinct feature of an oxidizing flame is that it produces a noticeable hissing sound. So, how each type of flame affects the metal? Carburizing flames produce iron carbide, which is not recommended for carbon-absorbing materials. You can use this method to weld low-carbon steel. When a carburizing flame is used for welding, the metal under process gets boiled and cannot be seen clearly. Actually, the steel itself is absorbing carbon from the flame, which eventually produces more heat. When the metal gets cold, its properties have drastically changed. Due to the high carbon concentration, it has become brittle, thus it can be cracked easily. Backhand welding is a notable technique where a carburizing flame is used. We would recommend the welders to use this flame on a metal whose carbon content is already high or metals that are hard-faced such as nickel, zinc or Monel. One thing to keep in mind while using this flame is that it is not a good flame for soft solder operations, and its outer core should be used for solder processes as we need low temperature in it. In a neutral flame, there is no chemical reaction on the metal which is under operation. The materials that can be welded by using this type of welding flame are mild steel, stainless steel, cast iron, aluminum, and copper. Adjustment of a flame is crucial not only for the material welding process, but also for preheating in cutting operations. A great benefit of using this flame is that you get quite a clearer metal puddle that flows and gets removed quickly without any foaming and sparking. An oxidizing flame has more temperature than that of a neutral one. It is famous for its capability of oxidizing metals easily. Hence, it creates problems in various welding operations, such as excessive weld deposits and undesired change in chemical properties. Therefore, it is not so common in industrial applications, but it is still a useful type of flame for cutting operations, and you can weld ironless metals. Oxidizing flames are used in metals like steel, cast iron, brass, and bronze. When a welder uses an oxidizing flame on steel, the molten metal gets burned and starts to foam and forms sparks. This is an indication that the oxygen reacts with steel. It depends on case to case, and the welder has to decide the distance between the flame and metal by looking at the response of the molten metal because of the flame. Therefore, some pre-thinking must be done before using an oxidizing flame for your application. It shouldn't be used on a metal that gets oxidized easily. Such metals are magnesium and aluminum. For more information, you can check out the relevant article on our website. You can find the link in the description. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos about welding, CNC and metalworking. Also, don't hesitate to navigate through our website. Thanks for watching.